everyone, welcome back to another episode, another video. If you're watching this on YouTube, welcome, and I hope you're having a lovely day. In today's episode, I'm going to be giving you an introduction into external and internal confidence. Now, I have recorded this intro after I've recorded the podcast episode, because throughout the whole podcast episode, and I will say this at the end of the episode, that I was calling it inner and outer confidence, and I feel like the correct terminology is internal and external confidence. So yeah, just bear with me. We're all human beings and we all mess up sometimes, and that is part of internal confidence, which I will explain further into the episode. So yeah, this episode is just more of an introduction. It's a short and sweet episode talking about the difference between internal and external confidence and your introduction of how to start working towards both kinds of confidence. Enjoy today's episode and let's get into it. Just felt really cool to talk about this today because I keep seeing so many people on TikTok and Instagram and just like everything talking about confidence and talking specifically about outward confidence, like the kind of fake it till you make it mentality. And I really wanted to touch on the difference between inner confidence and outer confidence, because there is a big difference and I feel like it's not spoken about enough. Like the outer confidence is the actions that you take that make you appear confident. Because a little mind-blowing like revelation about confidence that I had in my journey and that I want to share with all of you is that there is no such thing as a confident or an unconfident person. Just let that linger and let that settle in for a second. There is no such thing as a confident or an unconfident person. What? Like, what do I even mean? Because if you think about it, confidence is a feeling. It's not an emotion, it's a feeling, and it's subjective. So the way that I perceive confidence might be very, very different to how you perceive confidence. You might think that a certain person is confident, whereas I think a different kind of person is confident, and for different reasons. So there is no such thing as a confident person. There are only confident actions, and the situations that you find yourself in will determine whether you're confident or whether you're perceived as confident by the outside world and by yourself. So for example, you might appear confident and be perceived as confident when you're in your room on your own, when you're like with your friends who you're comfortable around, but then you might be perceived as unconfident if you're in an arena trying to give a speech to 1 million people. So it really depends on the environment that you are in, whether you're perceived as having confidence and being a confident person. So yeah, that is what I wanted to start with today. And also I've been thinking about the fact that confidence does not have to be loud, right? This is something that I have believed, or I had believed growing up, that to be confident, you had to be really loud, you had to be the center of attention, you had to get the best grades and to win the prizes and come first place and all of this. You do not need to be on top all the time, to be the center of attention, to be really loud and like outspoken to be a confident person. And I feel like that is one of the differences between outward and inner confidence. Inner confidence is knowing that what you have to offer, everything that you are, is enough, and that you trust yourself, you trust what you have to offer, you trust in yourself that you will be okay no matter what. That to me is inner confidence. And I really wanted to talk about the difference between the two in today's episode, and just to give you some comfort to know that, you don't need to be loud to have confidence. You can be a confident person regardless of whether you're shouting about what you're doing or whether you're sitting on the sidelines and you're happy with what you're doing, but you don't need to tell everyone about it. And in a way, I think that speaks louder than anything in the first place. So, yeah. But first, if you're not following me over on Instagram, then please do get to know me a little bit better on my stories that I post every single day. Get to meet my doggo. We go out every single day for a walk, and I don't even know why I've gone off on this tangent, but yeah, I'm creating something that is coming out so soon, and I'd love your input on it. On my Instagram at the moment, I'm doing like daily polls that are kind of a little bit like market research, because I'm being real and transparent with you here on the podcast. I want to co-create with you. I want to create an environment that is so supportive of your self-development journey. And to do that, to be able to make such an inclusive, like safe, encouraging environment, I really want it to be something that we create together, something that you want, something that you actually want. Like, I don't want to just create something and no one care because I want it to be something that will actually be useful for your self-development journey. So if you're not following me on Instagram, then please come on over there. I will be hinting at everything that I've been creating and also asking for your input about like the different topics or the different things that you want to be involved in this next offer that I'm bringing out into the world. And yes, it will help you to grow in confidence, in body acceptance, and to just generally level up your life and come home to yourself, feel who you truly are, and to start bringing in little bits of joy into your everyday routine every single day. So yes, come and join the party over on Instagram, and I look forward to seeing you there. Let me know that you've come from the podcast if you've come from the podcast. And yeah, inner confidence. We've spoken about inner confidence and all that inner confidence entails. It literally is everything that comes from within you. You don't need outside validation for inner confidence. You don't need someone to tell you that you're doing well. Like, I feel like this is a big thing, and a big thing that I had to come to terms with was that I don't need validation from everyone. Everyone's going to have an opinion no matter what I do. So I might as well take that inner validation from myself. Take that validation in general from myself. And by doing that in itself, that breeds more self-confidence and inner confidence, because you are getting clear with actually what you want out of life. So the first step to actually achieving inner confidence is to, drumroll please, ask yourself, what actually is confidence? What does confidence mean to you? Because it's subjective, as I said. Like, to me, having confidence is having that inner knowledge that I don't need to shout about what I'm doing, but I know that I'm doing the right thing for myself and that I'm aligned with my values and my purpose in this world. That, to me, is having confidence, having that self-assured knowledge that I'm living out the life that I was meant to lead, and that I'm living with the values that I want to, like kindness and being helpful and like nurturing those around me and bringing joy and light and warmth into the world. That is what I want to do, and connecting with those inner values in itself brings inner confidence. But yeah, so my version of inner confidence is having that self-assured knowledge of who you are and what you want to do. And also it is about having self-trust, trusting that you can handle whatever life throws at you. And, because we know that life is it's a whirlwind. We're up and down all the time, and that is just the beauty and the nature of the human existence. So knowing that whatever life throws at you, good or bad, you can deal with it. You can get through and you can support yourself. You don't need to rely on anyone else, on any external factors to get you through. First, start to think about what actually is inner confidence to you. What is having confidence? What does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? No, that's probably not one. What does having confidence feel like? To me, it sounds like lifting other people up, lifting those around you, like supporting those around you. And I say this because for so long, I was jealous of everyone. I was jealous of what everyone else was doing. I compared myself to others all the time. I compared what my body looked like. I was jealous that someone had like 10k followers and I was like, I felt really behind. And I always used to compare my success to what someone else had. And that harmed my confidence so much, because we don't need to do that. We're all on different phases of our lives. Like, we don't need to compare our day one to someone else's 376, You never ever know what someone else has gone through or is currently going through. To build lasting inner confidence, I truly believe it's about supporting those around you. And yeah, so it sounds to me like lifting others up, hyping women up, and being that support that you'd like to receive from others, right? That's my whole mission on this earth. And I do that knowing what I know about myself and confident in what I can offer. But I don't need to shout about it. I know that I can help people, and I'm confident in that. So another aspect of having inner confidence is giving yourself the evidence to support everything that you have and everything that you do and everything that you can achieve and that you have achieved. Because I spoke briefly earlier about how building inner confidence is about building self-trust. And building self-trust means having that evidence there, knowing that you can show up for yourself every single day because you have the evidence to prove that. And maybe it's a case of you don't have evidence to support that to support your journey so far, to support the fact that you're showing up for yourself. Maybe today is day one, and that's okay. It's about showing yourself that you can and that you will start showing up for yourself and start building that self-trust. So part of building that self-trust that you need to build strong inner confidence is about building evidence lists for everything that you have within yourself. So think about what you actually want out of life. What skills and attributes and characteristics and training, if training is required, what do you already have within you? And actually write yourself a physical list. What do you have that maybe someone else doesn't have? But then it doesn't really matter about anyone else. What do you have within yourself right now that will help you and support you in living out that life that you want to lead? So that is inner confidence. There are so many aspects that come into inner confidence. I believe I'm going to do a more in-depth podcast episode to do with inner confidence specifically and to do with outer confidence specifically, because I think that the two combined are very, very strong and powerful. But this is more about introducing the two different types of confidence. And as we said before, confidence is so subjective, and this is about really just starting to figure out what confidence means to you specifically. What behavior does a confident person have? And if you start asking yourself that question, maybe a confident person smiles more, maybe a confident person walks with their head held high, this is starting to tap in to that outer confidence. The outer confidence is that you portray to the world. That kind of fake it till you make it mentality, that creation of the highest self avatar. And in itself, I could do a whole podcast episode talking about the highest self avatar. And I probably will. Yeah, we're still very in the early stages of this podcast. Who knows what's to come? I'm excited. But yeah, so I'm going to go more specific into that in a future episode. But building outer confidence is that quick fix. It's that thing that you can just tap into when you need confidence quick, when you're going into a social situation and you want to tap into that quick, immediate confidence. And so that kind of confidence is thinking about the kind of behavior and the kind of attitude that a confident person would have. So to create this, you start asking yourself questions like, how would my highest confident self walk? How would she talk to everyone? What attributes does she have? What characteristics does she have? What kind of clothes does she wear? What kind of hairstyle does she create? What is her aura what is her overall feel and presence like? So get clear with that. Start thinking about what she actually looks like. And then when you do that, you can start tapping into that immediately. And you will feel a difference. If your most confident version of you walks into the room with her head held high, try it out. If you see someone that appears really confident and they're walking really proudly and confidently and you know what I mean, walking really tall and they're talking to everyone in the room, how can you start to connect with that version of you? It's like creating an alter ego. Every time you want to be confident, you start thinking, what would my highest, most confident version of me do right now? What would she say right now? How would she approach this situation? How would she approach this conversation? And then you literally step into that person, embody that reality. And then from there, you've created that highest version of you. You have tapped into that frequency. Therefore, you are that person. You are that confident badass bitch. You have tapped into it. Therefore, it is within you. I always say this to clients because one thing that we do over and over, actually, in our sessions to reconnect with the person that loves themselves, that accepts their bodies and that is the most confident version of them. We reconnect with every aspect of that person, what they feel, what they do, what they say, how they act, how they react. And we keep tapping into that because one thing I always say is the fact that you can verbalize that, the fact that you can think that and imagine what that person is means that it's already within you. Let that sink in. The fact that you can think about what your highest self is going to look like, it's going to sound like, it's going to smell like, means that it's already within you. And the way that you tap into it is just little by little getting really, really specific with what they actually do, say, feel, think, and are every single day. Get really specific. Do they wake up in the morning at 5 a.m.? Do they journal every morning? Do they do a meditation? Do they make themselves a cup of tea? Do they make other people in the household a cup of tea? What do they do? How do they support everyone around them? How do they speak to everyone around them? Tap into each little aspect of these features of this highest self version of you, the confident version of you. And the more that you do that, the more that person just becomes you. And you've completely tapped into that outer confidence. And there is more that comes into tapping into your outer confidence. It's all about the actions that you take and reflecting on the actions that you take. It's this big cycle of the actions that you take create your results, and your results create your beliefs, and your beliefs create your actions, and your actions create your results. And it's about breaking through that cycle and just starting to create that action, to then make yourself feel like you're a confident person. You're acting in a way that a confident person would act. And it's beautiful. The difference between inner confidence and outer confidence. Inner confidence is what we are striving for in life. Inner confidence means encompassing, accepting who you are. It means showing yourself kindness. It means realizing everything that makes you unique. It means supporting others rather than comparing yourself and being jealous and tearing other people down. It means showing up how you would want to show up and not caring what other people think. And this is a process, and the inner confidence takes a lot longer to actually achieve than outer confidence. But I'm so fed up of seeing these amazing confident women online, and there not being space for the fact that not everyone is loud. To be confident, you don't have to shout about everything that you've done. Being confident is so much different to being conceited and to boasting and all of that stuff. And one thing that I really want to touch on is, I'm a socially anxious girly. Message me if you're with me here. I thrive in smaller groups. I thrive on one-on-one conversations where I can just truly let my freak flag fly, I can just truly just be myself. Whereas in big groups, I get a bit anxious. I don't like big groups. I don't like having the full attention on me when there's 10 people in the room and I'm just what am I meant to say? I'm definitely better than I used to be, but it does fill me with anxiety. I don't thrive, but that does not mean that I'm not a confident person and that I don't hold confident traits, because it all comes from within. Even though I'm not loud in big groups, doesn't mean that I don't have confidence in who I am as a person. Because there's a difference between having inner confidence and having outer confidence that is loud. And basically, this is my permission slip to tell you, to let you know, if anyone is like me and is socially anxious and doesn't enjoy larger group situations, you're not alone. And you are not incapable of being confident, in being a confident person, in having confidence. Because we're all wired differently. And I'm confident and so confident in who I am and what I have to offer. But there are still times and there are still places and there are still environments that I don't hold the traits that I would see as a confident person. And that holds nothing against me. And it holds nothing against you either. So that was your permission slip. I feel like this is quite a short and sweet episode. Just dipping into the difference between inner confidence and outer confidence. And literally I've got to the end of the episode and I've realised that it should be internal and external confidence. Oh no. Inner confidence, internal confidence, external confidence, outer confidence. You guys know what I mean. The terminology sometimes fails me. And that is because we're human beings and not robots. So yeah, that's a nice note to finish on. Having confidence does not mean that you have to be perfect all the time. Having confidence is literally just knowing that who you are is enough and what you have to offer this world is enough, and that even if you make mistakes, even if you fall down, even if you fail, even if you're rejected, that does not change your worth. that's a lovely note to finish on. The difference between internal and external confidence. So I hope that you've enjoyed this little podcast episode, and I hope that you found something in here interesting or relatable. And if you have, then please rate the podcast on Spotify or wherever you're listening to this podcast episode. If you're watching on YouTube, then please like and subscribe and leave me a comment letting me know if you found any of it interesting or relatable. So yeah, come and join me over on Instagram. As I said before, I'm creating a space that's so inclusive and accessible, and I'm so excited for it to launch very, very soon. But that is all for today and for today's episode. I will see you again next week. Lots of love. Goodbye, everyone.